Hi, it's Brittany from the Empurrium. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are sewing the Everyday Tote from Bagstock. This is one of my favorite patterns. I have one that I have carried for like 4 years, and I just cut one out for myself to remake because I need a new laptop bag. So, love it. The materials I used for this one is my own smooth vinyl that I sell. This print I call Hex Sprites. It is a print from Hex Reject, the digital file that is. This really cute mint is called Sweet Mint. It is a satin vinyl from Mormino. It is a new vinyl line that they are going to have, and it releases on February 15th. Let's see here. I used my groovy thread or sewing string, as Wizardry calls it. It is a neon rainbow. So if you see these 6 neon colors that are always here, it is those 6 colors in a variegated rainbow. It's really fun. I have a slit sprite pull in here from Tote, I think it is. And also my zipper tape is from Wizardry. And then I have the hot pink Renew canvas from Mormino in here. And there's a little bit of printed waterproof canvas from Fabric Therapy. The only thing I changed in this pattern is I did a zipper overlay pocket instead of just like your traditional regular zipper pocket. I didn't change anything else. Okay. But it is padded and it is a nice size. And I did want to share what I carry in this bag normally, so you could see, like, it's the perfect carry-on if you're flying, okay? No, personal item. It's the perfect personal item. So just give me 1 second here. Let's see. I didn't grab everything that I was going to. However, I wanted to share that I use it as a laptop bag. And I have a 15.6-inch gaming laptop, and she's like hefty, okay? And like even past the screen, there's some more space. If I measure it for you, it is 14 inches wide by 10.5, and then it's at least an inch thick. So the bottom of this Everyday Tote technically isn't like as wide as it sticks just the tiniest bit, but it fits. And then because the top tapers up, it fits as well. I also have an iPad Pro, and it fits in here with it, and there's still space. So I have traveled with an Everyday Tote with my laptop, my iPad. I have a big headset that has like cat ears on it. It fits in here. I can bring a 20-ounce tumbler. I don't keep liquid in it when I zip everything up, but you know when you get on the plane and they're like, everything has to fit, okay? So you can have a tumbler in here, and then I've had like a book in here too, and a couple snacks. But what's important for me with the laptop is that it closes. So like, even with it closed, there's space. So, and the zipper can pop up too, but this still fits under the seat of the plane. So it's really good. And the strap is a nice size. I've lugged it around many an airport. So that's what that looks like. I love that there is foam on the exterior panels and the bottom. So this is my laptop bag of choice. I have a cutting video up also if you want to check that out. And then we go through sewing the whole bag. So I hope you enjoy. Before we start sewing the Everyday Tote, as I like to usually do, we are going to go over the pieces. I did prep one strap already so I could have that done. So that's what's sitting there. For the bottom, I fused my Decaville Heavy to it, and then I marked and punched holes to put my purse feet in. I'm using the screw-in purse feet from More Me Know, and then I have these end covers, strap end covers. I also have a zipper pull end. I have the foam for the bottom of the base that'll get basted on after the purse feet are on. We have these two large foam pieces that are going to go when we assemble our exterior panels. I have my recessed zipper panels. I have 2 exterior, 2 lining. I marked already and put double-sided tape on the ends. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut my zipper for that. So when I measure, if I don't like look at the pattern, I will take the length, and even though it gets folded under, I'll add maybe like 2 inches to that. So there's my zipper for that. So we've got all of our zipper panel pieces. Just go ahead and clip those together. Here is my other handle. I went ahead and marked down the center, so we'll work on that first also. As far as lining goes, I have 2 pieces for my slip pocket. So it's like a cargo pocket, and because I'm doing this printed waterproof canvas, and then I'm using this as the back, I had taken the measurements. I kept the width the same. I did half the height plus 1/4 inch for my seam allowance. So there is that. Cut 1 of each of those. And then here is my bottom lining piece. And then also for lining, we have a recessed zipper panel, like an overlay. And that zipper tape is not long enough. So let me go ahead and cut a piece for that. All right. So now I have my zipper tape for that. That's going to be so much fun. I have my 2 zipper lining pocket pieces. We have our lower lining pieces. So I like to put all of the lining pieces together. And then this is our upper lining. We have 2 of those, and I cut them from my exterior accent print. So all of this is lining. I'll put that all together. And then for our exterior panels, we have 2 of the center exterior panel, and we have 4 of our side panel pieces. So we have 2 and 2 that match up. So like this. So they'll go on the sides. Sometimes I mark them. I probably should have. And then I got my template piece because I have placement for the straps. So what I'd like to do first is work on my other strap and my base. I had an idea for the base that I was going to do a little something extra, but I think I'm just going to make it mostly basic with a touch of extra. I thought I would maybe like stitch a slit spread on there or something, but I don't know that I have it in me right now. I am going to stitch around it though. So for the straps, you can use double-sided tape if you would like, but I am going to just use clips and maybe break a couple. It happens. But I marked a line down the center, and then I'm just folding in almost to that line on both sides. And then folding both of those together. And just kind of working my way in as I go. So some bags you can get away with doing the handles at the very end, but this one you are riveting the handles on your main panel before you finish the bag. So I feel like this is good for the people who try to put it off until the end. I mean, I generally like doing mine first so that they're done. But I know I have a couple friends who'll be like, I finished this bag, I just have to make the handles. And I'm like, why didn't you do that? So I think it's funny. Like I said, I might break a couple today. It happens. I still love them. All right, so then we'll just go ahead and stitch all the way around. The strap ends that I have on these, it did take me some time to get them on, but you just slide them in, make sure they're straight, and then you screw them in. They also have strap ends that you can like clamp onto the end. Sometimes they make me nervous that they're gonna come off, but I've never had them come off. Or you don't even have to put them on. It is optional. I've made plenty of everyday totes without them. Okay, and then I'll just go ahead and heat seal. And then I'll show you like putting one of these on, but it does take me a tiny bit of time, so I'll mostly do it off camera. But you'll want to take and look and see if you have a side that you really want to be the front, and then you're just going to want to really squeeze that down. It's going to depend on the vinyl you use too. I would say probably like some vinyls might not fit in certain strap end hardware. The ones that clamp on, I think, are probably easier to use because they're open so wide. But you just have to really work it in there. So it did take me some time, but I got them in. It wasn't like impossible. And I think after I was messing with them for a while, it got easier because I had the vinyl compressed does catch on the thread a little too, but it is doable. So there is that one almost all the way in. Yep. So there's a little gap, but truly, like, I could not get them to go in all the way. So as long as it was straight, and then I guess since I got that on a little bit faster than I thought. So here's the little tiny screws, and then with my screwdriver, again, make sure it's straight. You don't want to put it on crooked. I'm gonna start that one, and then start the next one. Okay, make sure it's still straight. You could always use like some glue too, but truly, like, there's no stress that's going to be on this. It's just decorative and looks nice, but there is that strap end. It might be mildly off center, but good enough. I will put the other screw on later. And then for this, I think I'm going to go in like an inch from the edge and do a top stitch. I'm going to, you know what, probably be good to just take and make a mark at my corners so I know where to start and stop. And this is like a removable pen, but it also should wipe off of this vinyl. So keep that in mind before you go marking on your stuff. But I'm going to leave my thread tails long so I can tie off my threads. And this is going to help keep the stabilizer like fully adhered. I also didn't press it the greatest because I used a little iron. It's gonna be cute. This is something you could do on the bottom of any bag. And I have definitely learned from my mistakes. Do not do this after you put the purse feet on. Like, definitely do this before. Okay, so I just pulled that thread to the back, and then I'm going to knot my threads, and I want to end in the same thread hole that I started, and then I will pull this thread and knot it off also. And then I'll take these and trim them down just enough. All right, for these purse feet, you have these little screws. And the purse feet, if you take and pop the screw to the back, you can like set the foot down and start it, and then just tighten that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all these purse feet on and put the other strap end on, and then I will clip the foam and then baste around that. So I'll be back to do that, and then we'll move on to finishing our exterior. So I have the strap end hardware on. I measured my markings for the straps per the pattern, and then I went ahead and punched holes for the rivets for later. So I'm going to set those aside for now. And then I also finished my purse feet, and I clipped the foam to the exterior bottom, and then we're just going to go ahead and baste this on. So I'll up my stitch length just for this. Okay, so we can set this base panel aside for a little while. We need the side panels. There are 4 of those. And we need the center panels. Okay, so the more narrow part of the center is the top, and then the wider part of these side panels are the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay these like this. There's all sorts of stuff stuck to the back. And then same thing with this one. You could mark the tops. So these side panels, the straight edge is the outside and the angled is the inside. And like I said, the wider part is the top here. So I'm just folding these in, and then we can go ahead and clip all these together. You want the side panel to go just a little bit higher than the center. The pattern doesn't give like a specific measurement for that. It just says a little higher, but try to make it so it is the same difference on all of them, just for consistency. And what this does is when you flip open to top stitch, it'll make the top and bottom edges line up better. All right, there's one side, and then same thing. I would say maybe I'm doing like 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And I am putting more clips than I'd maybe usually put in on a seam, but I really want to make sure that nothing shifts while I'm sewing. And the reason I'm clipping all 4 of these at once is I really like to chain stitch my pieces like this, so I don't have to keep starting and stopping with my thread. Oh, speaking of, changing my stitch length back to a 4.5. All right, ready to sew. To make sure you backstitch at the start and stop of everything we're doing here. So this is where, instead of starting and stopping with my thread, I will just start the next one. Oh boy. Oh, my thread got stuck. Well, that's funny. Instead of... it got stuck on something. I had stopped recording for the day, and I covered up the thread on my machine because of my cats instead of unthreading it, and then I must have accidentally looped it under something, but that's fine. So I probably have to restart this piece because the tension got really like bad, but that's fine. I'll go ahead and trim these apart. Okay, yeah, that really pulled there, but I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that thread in there. There's no reason to pull it out. If it was a top stitch, I would have. Okay, and then I'll just go to the other side of the next one. And when it gets a little far away, I just go ahead and clip, and I can trim this thread off too. And then we can keep feeding them in back to back, but now we are going to start top stitching. So you'll just fold to the side panel. So you have your seam allowance to the side panel, and then you will top stitch on the side panel. And just keep repeating until you get all 4 of those, and see how like this sticks, but this is pretty darn flat. That's because we didn't line the edges up, but slightly had that overhang. Both sides. No. One more. This thread is so fun with this. because almost all of the stitching is going to be on this mint vinyl. I went over a little. Dang it. Okay, that'll be my back. Okay, so now we need, so cute, to take our large, well, you know what? Before we put the foam on, we could go ahead and mark. No, I'm not going to. Sorry, I'm indecisive. All right, so we have these large panels of foam. I'll go ahead and do one side at a time. You're gonna take and lay the exterior panel on top of that foam. It technically should match up, but if it doesn't completely match up, that's okay. Sometimes mine's just slightly off, and it always comes together just fine. But go ahead and clip together those panels. Sometimes I like using my rainbow hair clips. I think it's easier clipping to foam, but I just didn't get them out. All right, so the sides is where it's gonna hang over the edge a little bit more probably, and that's fine. This side seam is gonna get stitched a 1/2 inch, so you have plenty of seam allowance to work with. So when you're basting these, just make sure you're within that seam allowance and you're good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and repeat that on the other one. If your foam ended up sticking out further, I would probably suggest trimming it down, but mine was the other way around. Okay, so lining this up here. Yeah, see this? I don't know. I could have also cut my foam. Not completely perfect. Who knows? Truly is probably what I did. Okay, changing my stitch length before I forget. Now we can start marking our straps. So my suggestion is a little piece of tape, and I think having these markings and holes punched already is good, because the very, was it the very first one I made, which it's mine, I had put too much tape, and it's like above the not the D-ring, the rivet, and like the tape got gummy and like things stick to it. You can't really tell, and it's mine, so took one for the team. No. It's fine, but just something to be mindful of. Okay, so, and I'm putting this on the back of my straps. So I have the template piece, and it has markings. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show it, but there are measurements in the pattern too. But I'm taking and putting my pen through these little spots on my template, and I'm just marking out where the strap will be. And you can eyeball it a little bit too. So I have marks here, 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 here. Like the strap ends up sitting like right next to the seam. It's pretty close. You can also make these marks on this piece like when you cut the bag out, but I always tend to mark it out at this point. Okay. So hopefully I got it where I can see all of them. Okay. Which one did I say was my... This is my back. Okay. It doesn't really matter, but I think one of these straps, my stitching wasn't as good either. I don't know. Maybe I'm just... I thought one was... Okay. This one. This is for the back. Alright, this is the front. I also like to put my straps so that the folded seam is on the outside. So like this would go here. And then I have these marks. You can take and line up like the end of your strap to that, or like the end of your connector. Technically these measurements go from the end of your connector or your strap, so I'm gonna go ahead and lay that down so that the end of the measurement is with the strap connector. And then I like to clip the strap in place. Oh man, I stuck the tape to my table. It's fine. It's just to hold it. Make sure that there's no twists in your strap. And then, oh, where's the dot? Can't see it because it was on black. Okay. So I'm just clipping the tops, and then this part is stuck down. And then I'll kind of like eyeball it too and make sure it looks good. I kind of want to see okay, I just want to make sure they were an equal distance down. I know I measured them, but Star says hi. Hi Star, what do you want? Okay. And then I'll do this one. Same thing. Okay, I'll pet you. All right, make sure there's no twists. Okay. This one is a little bit hard to line up because of it being in a spot where I couldn't see it again. All right, I'm gonna eyeball those and make sure that they are the same height as well. Okay. So now what I like to do is you could have just laid it down and made marks to see where that is, but we need to punch through these. And sometimes what I'll do is I will try to take my handheld, but I take my press and just line it up my awl through this and punch. So like the hole is already in the strap, so I'm just punching through this panel and the foam. Also, this is like a spot where you could add reinforcement behind these rivets as well. I think it depends on what materials you're using. Okay, this is something I have to be careful of too. I tend to drag my awl here. Okay, so rainbow hardware means rainbow rivets, but then these just go through here and then I will set them. Okay, so that's how those go on. I'm going to go ahead and do all 4 of them and set them, and then I will be back. Oh, I'm also going to put my nameplate on before I return. We have the 2 finished exterior panels. I have riveted those straps on. I went ahead and marked the center of the bottoms, and then I marked the center of the long edges of my bottom panel, and I went ahead and marked my seam allowance around the edge of there. Now in the pattern, before you would do anything else, it has you finish the work on the lining, but I like to just go ahead and finish my exterior first. So we're going to put these exterior panels right sides together, and we're going to clip together these sides. Okay, there's one. And now we're gonna sew those together. So there's one side done. And then you can go ahead and trim the seam allowance down. Now we're gonna put the bottom panel on. So like I said, I drew a seam allowance box around, and then you're gonna take and put it right sides together with one side of the exterior, and you're gonna line up the center markings and clip. And drawing that box is really helpful and important because it is going to tell us where we need to start and stop our stitches. If you were to stitch the whole entire length, you are going to have problems finishing it. So right where that corner of the sewn box is, that's where we are starting our stitches. Sometimes the handles get stuck on the edge of my table, so be mindful of them. Okay, and then we are going to clip this to the other side. Match up those centers. Right, and then same thing. Okay, and then from here, I always forget the spot that we need to clip. Okay. Okay, we're gonna take on the exterior. Oh, there's my scissors, there they are. Okay, so here is where we started and stopped. So on the exterior, we're going to notch right there. So you're only cutting through the exterior and you are not cutting stitches. You're just putting a notch in here, and that's going to help everything bend, because now we are going like this and lining this up. So that helps right there move. Without that, you're gonna struggle right here. Speaking of struggle, I always struggle deciding which side to sew from for this part. But I'm just gonna go ahead and clip both sides. Make sure everything is lining up nice. I kind of tend to stitch from the bottom panel because I have that line there. Just another one of those things, I think. Pick what works best for you, but you're just starting and stopping where your last stitch left off. And then try to keep everything lined up. So there, I made it to each corner. If you had like a teeny tiny gap, you're really not going to be able to tell, and like nothing's gonna fall out of your bag. You have your lining too. You'll be good. I mean, like, don't have a big gap, but a little one, okay. All right, so, oh, I am so sorry. That handle just flew at it. There is our exterior. We can set that to the side and we can work on our lining. So I want to do my recess zipper first. I think I would just like to know that it is done first. So let me see here. All right. The pattern directs you to do the zipper a little bit different from how I'm going to do it. I'm going to fold both ends in, and in the pattern, you just fold one end. Okay, but first I'm going to prep my zipper. So I'm going to fold in, clip, and then same thing on this side. Fold in, make sure that they are even, and then we can take and hit that with the lighter. You just kind of want to do a little heat at a time so you don't completely burn your finger. And my clips are fighting against each other. Okay, and if you keep the clips on, they don't have to completely stay melted enough, as long as you can get it transferred and clip it down and then sew it. So I had made fold marks. So I took the seam allowance and doubled it and marked in, put some double-sided tape, and now I'm just folding to those lines on both sides. Maybe. And I'm doing this for both ends of both the lining and exterior. So 4 pieces total. If you have a directional print, you'll want to decide how you want to orient your zipper panels, but I'm just using solid colors, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay. And now I'm going to take with the right side up, and I'm going to line my zipper up right side down. I like putting it so the zipper teeth are right past that folded piece, just to try to reduce some bulk. You could tape this down if you'd like. You could clip. If you want to baste the zipper down first, you can also do that. But I tend to just skip ahead to making my zipper sandwich. So I'll take a lining piece and lay that right side down, clip, and it should match up on both ends. We'll go ahead and stitch. Okay, and then we're going to fold this open, both sides, and then I like to take and match the ends up. And then clip together this raw edge. Then I'll kind of tug on the zipper and we're going to stitch all the way around. So we're top stitching the zipper and then basting everything else together. So I like to start here on this raw edge and stitch all the way down this first. And you do still have some bulk here, like there are 4 layers of exterior, but we don't have the zipper tape in that. And then as you go down the side with the zipper, gently pull the zipper away to flatten, but make sure you're doing even pressure the whole way down the zipper. Okay, now we're going to repeat everything we did just now to attach the other zipper panels. So I'll also take and go on this end and line up and start from there, and then that should line your zipper up perfectly on the other end as well. It's easier to measure and line up from that end first. At least that has been my experience. Okay. Stitch that together. And then this side for me is always easier to stitch because you have the panel on this side instead of just the zipper tape. Okay, and again, I like starting on this raw seam all the way down. This little thread was sticking up, so just trimmed it. Okay, so yeah, you can pull from both sides, both panels on this side. But once you get to the end, that zipper will separate. I haven't put the pull on yet because I don't need to, and I can actually make assembling the lining a little bit easier if I don't put it on. But what I'll do is I will take note of which side the tooth goes up higher, and I will put a mark on that side so I know to put my zipper pull so that that goes up first. Okay, I'm going to find my centers of my panels. Okay, and then we will set that to the side. Okay, here are the rest of our lining pieces. So we have our upper lining. That's going to be pretty much last, along with our bottom panel. Okay, so this is for my cargo pocket. I have two pieces because I'm doing a front and a back. And then for my zipper pocket, I have my overlay, my zipper, two lining pieces. I'm going to use this little woven label, and then I have a zipper pull. So I'm going to do a pop tab pull for this, and then my main zipper is my little slit sprite. Okay, so we can go ahead and work on this cargo pocket first. And what I need to do is I need to piece these together. So again, I had kept the width the same per the pattern. I took half the height and added 1/4 of an inch so that I could sew these together and it would come out the same. Actually, you know what? I think if I would have just left it, it would have been right. Yeah, it's fine. My pocket will be 1/4 of an inch taller. I didn't think about that because you fold it in half and then you sew it. So you're already, nope, I was right, okay. I don't even know. Because you would keep the one side unfolded. Sorry. My brain today apparently just isn't there. Okay, yes, because you would have the folded side and you wouldn't sew it. So you would just stitch up and around from two sides. But what I need to do is just leave an opening on the top or bottom. Okay. You still with me? Am I still with myself? All right, so I'm going to stitch all the way around. But I'm going to leave an opening to turn. So I'm going to notch these corners so that it will sit nicer. And then I'm going to use my hemostats to turn this. Okay. I'm using thicker materials, kind of, than if you just used an interfaced cotton woven. And I didn't really leave that turning hole very big. Knocked my zipper pull off the table. Okay. So, then you can also use the hemostats to push your corners out. This is so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. So whatever you use to poke the corners, just make sure it isn't like extra sharp. You don't want to put holes in them. Cotton woven's also easier to do this part, but okay. So once you have that turned, you can go ahead and top stitch the top of your pocket. I'm just gonna place a couple of clips, and then I just want to flatten it first too. Okay. So we still have the hole that we turned it left in the bottom, and I'm going to just go ahead and put a couple clips on there, and I'm going to make sure that everything else is sitting smooth on all sides. All right. Now we're going to mark the center, so you can go ahead and just fold this in half. Okay. So if you take, let's see here, I might have to move my clips, but if you mark and then you're going to mark an inch away from each side. Okay, so we've got our lines. Then you're taking and folding on those outside lines And I like to clip the top so it's straight. And we're going to top stitch on the edge of that. Oh, I also folded it back to back. So we're top stitching on the outside of the pocket. So if you have a right and wrong side, I'm going to take those clips off, and now we're going to do the same thing from this other marking. Okay, so now we have what looks like this. Okay, we need to take one of our lower lining pieces and we need to find the center of that. So depending on your material, you can just fold it and mark it. And then we're going to measure down from the top to line everything up. And we're going to stitch down this center, and then I like to go back and we'll make a V. But I just want to get this sewn on straight down the center first. Okay, and then back up here, you're just making a V. It gives you like a measurement, but I usually just eyeball it. Oh, I ran out of bobbin. I knew it was going to end soon. I won. All right, so there is my V. Let me change the bobbin real quick. And then we're going to stitch down the edges of this, and I'll show you what we're going to do for that. Okay, so you're going to fold this to the center line, and I just start with the one side, but once you have that lined up, you can go ahead and start stitching this on. Okay, and then once I get to where the next pocket is going to meet, I fold it in, and you could back stitch right there. There's a few layers there. And then you can just check that it's laying flat. You could rivet these corners if you wanted, if that's something you like doing for pockets. It's up to you. Okay, so the Renew canvas does fray some. Usually doesn't. I think I've just handled this piece a lot, but I still love it so much. So here is our cargo pocket. This is so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's work on our zipper overlay. So I do have to grab my zipper pull that I lost. All right, so zipper pull, zipper overlay. If you want a fun woven label, we have our 2 zipper pocket lining pieces and the remaining lower lining. I'm gonna go ahead right now and just fold this in half. And I'll go ahead and put my overlay down on it. I already put some double-sided tape on, and I put it maybe like a 1/4 inch away from the edge. We're gonna go ahead and line this up. Oh, I'm trying to figure out, okay, this is right side up. Okay, I'm standing up. It's just easier to line this up if I do that. All right, and once you get that lined up at the top, just go ahead and make sure everything is lined up. Now I do want to put my woven label. Where to go? All right, here it is. So I'll just lift up right here and make sure that this is good. Oh, so cute. Okay, so we're going to stitch around this box on the outside. Oh, I forgot. Yes, I know I already said it before, but this zipper overlay is not part of the pattern. There is a regular zipper pocket. If you want to do that and you need help with that, I have done it in a bunch of other tutorials. Just let me know and I can lead you to one. I just have really grown to love the way the zipper overlay pocket looks, and it's nice to have like a pop of the print inside the bag. So I've been having fun with them. I thought originally that it like took too much time to do, also was my thing, but I just really got tired of folding in my lining the other way. But it's absolutely a preference thing, and you can do what you want to do, and that's the really fun part. Getting to choose what you want to change in any of the bags you make. Okay, so we've got this. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out my box. So I'll just start this with my seam ripper and then switch to some scissors. I think they're called duckbill scissors. A lot of people use them for like applique, but I found they do well for this. But we are trimming this box so you can get close to your tape. You just want this to be out of the way, but do not cut that zipper overlay. All right, so that is done. We'll set this aside for just a moment and work on the lining. So you're gonna take, if you have a right side or a wrong side, be mindful, but you want lining right side up, zipper right side up, and you're going to tape or clip. Then we're going to stitch that down. And once you've stitched that down, you're going to fold this so that the zipper is flat and top stitch the zipper down to the lining. So you'll have the wrong side of the lining up at this point. And then with the right side up of your lining again, you're going to lay this down on top and make sure that it is lined up. So lining right side up, zipper right side up, stitch that down again. Open this up again and top stitch that zipper down again. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and trim all these threads that are hanging off. Okay, we're gonna take some double-sided tape and line that down on your stitches so it's out of the way. Okay, this is another time where I will stand up to line this up. So it's nice, it gets you moving. Alright, but you're gonna lay down your zipper overlay on top, and you just want to make sure that the edges are lined up, and you can, by standing up, see that your lining is going to be centered. Okay, and you want to line up the edges so that the zipper is centered, and then you can just kind of go through and make sure that everything else is centered, or as centered as it's going to get. I don't put the zipper pull on yet. You can if you want to, but I like to go ahead and start stitching inside. So I'm going to put the pull on the right side so it closes to the left. So from the right side, I'm going to start maybe like 2.5 inches in, and I'm going to leave the tail long again so I can pull the thread to the back. I'm just going to start stitching, and by not having the pull on yet, it keeps the zipper as straight as possible. As you're going, if you need to adjust, you can. And then once you get maybe about halfway back, it's like right here, I'm gonna make sure that needle is down. I'm going to pull my thread where I started to the back. I'm going to knot it off. And then I'm going to put my zipper pull on. So it is a little bit harder doing it this way because I'm a little bit backwards, but you can do it. And it is going to come untaped some, so you're just going to have to readjust it. but it goes on pretty, it's pretty okay. All right, so I'm just gonna push the zipper in enough to have it on there, and then I will stitch in a little bit more once I get close. Needle is down. I'm just gonna go ahead and move it and check and make sure that everything is still lined up. And that's my favorite way of doing it, so that I don't have to fight with the zipper at all. And then once you get back to where you started, just finish your stitches in that hole you started. Pull to the back, knot it off. Okay, and we can go ahead, seal these. I think the pattern has you leave the zipper pocket open to birth the bag, if I remember correctly. Yes. Okay, so this is a pretty big pocket to birth the bag, but I like leaving my lining open. So we're gonna leave the bottom of this pocket open, and we're also gonna leave the lining open. And that way we can birth the bag through the lining, and we don't have to worry about our zipper pulling funny or anything. So I've clipped this after folding that down, and then I'm just going to even these panels up and fold the bottom up here like so. Okay, we're gonna flip this over and fold over the lining, and we're just gonna stitch down the sides. Same thing on the other side, and you can go ahead and like leave the zipper halfway open. Okay, I'm going to take these clips off and just fold this open like so, and then kind of start the fold for that for later. Okay, so we have our 2 pocket lower lining panels done. We have the recessed zipper panel, and we have our upper lining. This is so cute. Oh my gosh. All right, we are ready to start assembling this. And you can kind of pick which side you want to be the front or the back of the bag. I like having my zipper at the back, so I'm going to work on that side first. So as far as the zipper panels go, I'm going to take these apart, and the one where the zipper is going to be closing in the same direction is the one I'm going to put here. So, and then I need one of my upper linings. I'm going to fold and find my center. Okay. And then we're going to lay that recess panel down, centered. And then let's see here. Okay, yes, I just wanted to make sure it was right. We're going to clip this down. You could baste this if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and keep going. All right, so if you have a directional print, you can lay it like this, and then you'll fold it down, and that's how you know it's going to be right. I like to line up the ends first because I didn't mark my centers. And then if you just lay it evenly and transfer my clips. All right, and then we're going to sew through all of these layers from end to end. You could do a little back stitch right there if you'd like. It is going to get top stitched too, so. Okay. And then fold that top lining panel up. You're going to have your seam allowance towards the top, and you're going to top stitch through the upper lining and the seam allowance. This is so cute. Oh my gosh. I'm really excited to finish this and see what it looks like. So there is one panel. Set that to the side. And then grab the other lower lining, upper lining, and zipper panel. All right, let's find our center again. Okay, so everything we just did on the other side. Okay, and again, just gonna lay that so I know it's in the right direction, and then fold it down. Okay. And then transfer my clips. And stitch. And then again, we are folding the top lining up and top stitching through that and the seam allowance. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, so here are those two panels, and now we are ready to assemble the lining. We're going to put them right sides together, just like we did the exterior, but we're going to line up our side seams. And these zippers, I'm going to fold like so and clip so that the zipper is out of my way. All right. Okay, and we are going to go in on our seam allowance for the lining, but you're going to start the top at the same as the exterior. So I like to do the upper lining piece at the same, and I'll do a little back stitch, and then once I get past that, I will increase my seam allowance. And then go ahead and trim down the seam allowance. And I'm not going to cut into this seam, but something I have learned from Shannon from Knotted Threads is if I make a notch there, it's going to help open that seam to line everything up for the final stitch. Okay, so again, just don't cut into your stitches. All right, I need to draw a box for my seam allowance on the bottom. So I'm actually just going to make a line on each short end where that is. Okay. Now I need to find centers because I did not do that again. Right, so I'm just going to line up there. Did not catch both, but I can lay them together and get it. Okay. And then centers for the bottom. Okay, and then we're doing the same thing we did for the exterior, but like I said, I'm gonna leave one whole side open to turn my bag, and I'm gonna do it on the side opposite of my zipper pocket. I just really have found that to help me. Oh, you know what? I won't be able to leave the whole side open. All right, so let's do that first because we're gonna need to do the ends. All right, so I'm gonna line up my center, and then I'm gonna go pretty close to the end and put some clips in so I know where I'm stitching. Okay. So I'm just gonna sew like 2 inches and 2 inches. And all of this bottom panel seam is at your increased seam allowance. So I'm going all the way over and stitching. So this big long opening here is going to be our turn hole for the bag. Okay. And then I'll go to the other side and we're going to stitch that one all the way across. Okay. Now we need to make those little notches again. So on the lining, but not the bottom. Just do not clip into your stitches. All right. And then stitch the sides. Okay. And then you can trim down as much of your seam allowance as you can. I don't like to trim into my stitches. And then I'm going to go ahead and just trim at an angle here. Okay, so then we can go ahead and flip our lining. It's so cute. I love it. Okay. So I have the exterior wrong side out and the lining also. I folded these straps in so they'd be out of the way. And then the front is where my logo is. I want my bag to zip closed to the left. So I have that zipper panel closing to the left, and it also puts the zipper pocket on the back of my bag. So I folded open the seam allowance on my lining. I should have kept the seam allowance larger at the top of the exterior. I did not think about it. But we are going to go ahead and just clip our layers together. And if it doesn't completely line up, you just might need to like give a tug here and there. It will fit as you go. Okay, almost there. Okay, again, just tugging. You want to keep the the side seams together the most. But then we're going to stitch that, and sorry, my tablet keeps trying to turn off on me. I need to charge it. Okay, yeah. Just wanted to check seam allowance. Okay, we're going to stitch the lining to the exterior. It was a pretty big opening for this bag. It's not too bad. I know it looks weird. You're just looking at the bottom of the bag. But you definitely want to make sure that you had those straps folded down out of the way. And I'm making sure as I go that those seams are folded as flat and open as possible. So like I said, if I wouldn't have trimmed away the exterior like I did, that would have laid a little bit better. But that's okay. Alright, so you do not need to trim this seam allowance down. I don't, because I like to have it in my top stitch. I feel like it looks nicer. Okay, so now we're going to birth the bag. So go ahead and pull the lining out. And then you're just going to reach in, grab the bottom. And something I've found birthing bags that usually helps is if you just like flip the exterior as you go. Kind of helps. I don't know. Sometimes birthing a bag is the worst part of making it for me. But I have like some nerve problems and whatnot, so arthritis or carpal tunnel or a combination of everything. So, but leaving this opening in the bottom, I think, makes it a lot easier than pulling the bag through the pocket. So go ahead and make sure you pop the corners of the bottom of the exterior out. So if your base is wrinkled, you can always like steam it a little. Should be fine. Okay, it's looking good. Then I just like to flatten these seams. We can take these clips off of that zipper tape. This is so cute. I'm not gonna stop saying it. I'm so sorry. Or am I? Okay. So we have the zipper pocket. You can pull that through, and then you're going to pull the bottom of that lining through that and find that open seam. We're going to clip that. If you wanted to put a woven label at the bottom down here, you can. You can also put one in the zipper pocket as well. But we're going to go ahead and stitch the bottom of the lining closed. And before I forget, I think I do want to put one of my labels in the zipper pocket. Okay. You can trim down this seam allowance if you'd like. I'm not going to this time. Okay, and then you take the zipper pocket lining and fold that all in. Make sure it's all lining up nicely. There we go. Okay, so I am going to put a woven label, but I like to start it. And then once I get to like the center, sorry, I know you can't see everything, but the camera was too close. I kept bumping it, so. Okay. So then you take and poke that back down in. Make sure you push it all the way in and you have the corners sitting nicely. You can close that pocket, and then we're going to push the lining down in. But like all of this goes into the bag, so you're going to want to pop that down. It's just so fun. Like, oh my gosh. All right. So now you're going to take, and I like to just roll the seam with my fingers. And your strap should be plenty out of the way. And I'm going to clip as I go. So you do have the foam folded over up here, and there are some layers. If you're using all vinyl like I did, it is a little bit thicker than if you would use woven in spots. So just one of those things, you got to know your machine, know your limits. All right. You do want those zipper tails to stay out of the way still, but okay. After I have clipped my top seam, I like to just push the lining in again and make sure it's sitting nicely. Now, I like to do this top stitch on my cylinder arm, so I am going to move to that, but all we have to do is our top stitch and put our zipper pull on and it'll be done. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'll meet you at the cylinder arm. All right, we have our machine threaded, we have our bag ready. I like to start in like the back corners, like behind one of the straps on the back. So that's where I will go. And I made plenty of this bag before I ever had a cylinder arm. So again, it is absolutely doable. You don't have to have one. I just really like to take advantage of the fact that I have it. And I also try to get, you know, as much use out of it as I can and make sure that it is getting used frequently. If you don't have a cylinder arm, my suggestion is to flip the bag inside out and top stitch so it's from the exterior, but you're not bending the bag a bunch, if that makes sense. That's what I used to always do. See, even with the cylinder arm, you still have to like finagle. It's not perfect. Now, people who don't have the table in the way, there's that difference. Okay, so we're on the front of the bag. Extra careful. Okay, I'm just working my way around, taking my time. Okay, before I get back to where I started, I like to trim away my threads so that they're not there to tangle anything up when we get back. I was just gonna say, I was trying not to knock things off my table that I set there to finish the bag. Oh well. All right, back stitch just a couple at the end. Our stitching is done. Go ahead and seal those threads. So good. All right. You find what I knocked on the floor. So, like I said, I had marked which side the tooth needed to be up for my zipper, and then you just want to make sure it's not twisted. And put your zipper pull on. So all right. And then you can just verify that everything lines up. And mine does. Okay. And then I have my zipper end. I just need to grab a screw. Oh, and here's George. It wasn't Treats Bud. It was a screw. All right, well, hopefully you can still see. So I'm going to wrap my zipper tape around to the back. And I could also start the screw so that it's in there just enough. Okay, that'll be better. No, sir. All right, so that is wrapped around, and then I'm going to slide the zipper end in there. Some people like using glue. I never do. I'm just gonna make sure it looks nice. And then finish that screw. These zipper ends, they are large, but I love them. They've really grew on me, and now when I look at like a smaller zipper end, it just looks funny. So the screws are really long. They really go in there. All right. It is done. She is so cute. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have made one before. It is a pattern that has been around for a long time, and it is one of the first ones I started out with. I hadn't made too many different patterns by the time I made it. I love it. So I hope you enjoy. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love if you did, and have a great day. Bye.